Now, John LeBoutillier is a former Republican member of the U.S. House of Representatives from New York. He joins us now via Skype from Long Island in New York. Mr. LeBoutillier, good to chat to you again. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Thank you for inviting me, and good evening. Happy 2020 to you and everybody watching.
Certainly hope that you'll have a great year too. Now, this certainly is a nail-biting moment for everybody concerned. Now, for the laymen out there who may not necessarily understand all the technical intricacies with regards to the impeachment, the big question remains, will President Trump be removed from office or not?
Probably not. We've never done that in our country. We've done this. This is the third time we've tried this. And both times, obviously, the president survived the Senate trial. But they were both in their last term. They did not run again. We've never had one who's in the middle of running for reelection. So we don't know how it'll affect his reelection. I don't think he'll be removed. It would take, as you said, 2/3, which would mean 67 senators. The way the Senate is today, there are 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats. That means if you got every Democrat, 47, you'd need 20 Republicans. As of today, I don't know that you could get 2 Republicans. But maybe there's more evidence to come. We'll have to see. I don't know.
Well, since now the ball rests with the Senate camp, well, the Democrats sure hope that this impeachment will carry symbolic weight. But will such weight have any influence in campaigning for re-election for President Trump?
Oh, I think it will. I think it can't help but hurt Trump. I think that Trump knows that it's hurting him. His ratings are not good. The subject of this impeachment, which is Ukraine and trying to get them to announce an investigation of Joe Biden, tells us that he is very afraid of Joe Biden and went to extraordinary lengths to try to get dirt, or what sounded like dirt, on Joe Biden. Now, if Biden ends up being the Democratic nominee, I think this impeachment will hurt Trump a lot. His ratings are down. And I would think he would have trouble defeating Joe Biden.
Now, we've seen Mr. McConnell angering the senior Democrats when he appeared to abandon their responsibility, with Chief Justice John Roberts being sworn in to preside. And he's saying that Senate Republicans would act in lockstep with the Trump administration. How will this eventually play out?
Well, that was a statement many Republicans regret that McConnell made. Now, it's an interesting thing because McConnell's from the state of Kentucky. He's up for his own reelection this year, 2020. His ratings in Kentucky are abysmal. The Republican governor of Kentucky just was defeated this past November, 2 months ago, when Trump went down there and campaigned for him. That guy lost. So McConnell is very nervous about keeping his own seat, and he cannot allow himself to be seen as disloyal to Donald Trump in Kentucky. It's a unique state. Trump did very well there, and McConnell is sticking like this to Trump. But in the process, he's supposed to be running an impartial Senate trial. And he sure didn't sound impartial.
Now, not much has been heard from John Bolton, the former national security advisor, who's saying that he'll only testify if he's served with the legal summons. But then, will he be served with such summons? And is he a key element in this whole debacle?
Absolutely. He's the most key witness of all. He was the national security advisor for the last 2 years. He was opposed to this Ukrainian thing. He called it a drug deal. He said Rudy Giuliani is a hand grenade that's going to blow up and hurt everybody. He told his staff to go to their lawyers all the time whenever this issue came up. He has not talked, other than his lawyer has said in the fall that John Bolton has much information about this Ukraine thing that no one else has. He just last Monday, 8 days ago, came out and said, indeed, if I'm subpoenaed by the Senate, I will come testify. So what will that take? 51 senators. If 51 next week or the week after vote to have a subpoena issued to John Bolton, it will be done.
And I guess witnesses are a key element in the whole trial, with the Democrats being being afforded the right to call witnesses. Will the president being afforded the same right of calling his own witnesses then?
Well, there is no right to call witnesses unless you get 51 votes. So and like I said, it's 53 Republican, 47 Democrats. So if the Democrats want to call a witness, they've got to get at least 4 Republicans to join with their 47. It's unclear if they have it. It sounds like Republicans believe there are 4 or 5 Republican senators who will join the Democrats. And then the question is, what are the witnesses? Who are the witnesses? Are they Bolton and Mulvaney, the chief of staff? And in order to do that, do they have to make a deal where a couple of Republican witnesses get called? Also, there's talk of calling Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden. I don't know that there are 51 votes for that. Every one of these will be decided by a majority of the Senate, not by Mitch McConnell. It's by the majority, whoever the majority is.
So you reckon if the 51 votes has been garnered and the Republicans indeed call witnesses, will Mr. Joe Biden and his son be subpoenaed then?
No. If I had to guess, I'd say Bolton and Mulvaney are going to be subpoenaed. And I don't know that the Democrats, I don't think that the Republicans will end up calling Joe Biden. I don't think it makes any sense. He has nothing to do with the case. Yeah, he's Trump's potential opponent, but he has nothing to do with whether Donald Trump violated his oath of office. So I don't think there are 51 votes to get Biden.
So what's the voter sentiment on the ground in the United States at the moment?
I've seen 2 polls. 71% in one poll want witnesses. 66% in another poll want Bolton to be called. Those are big numbers. You know, in our country right now, you can't get a majority of people to agree that it's Wednesday. So if you get 66% want, that's 2/3 of the country wants to hear John Bolton, I think the U.S. Senate has to pay attention to that. They're political elected officials. Of course they're going to listen to it. I also just looked before I got on the show with you, the number of people who want to remove Trump is at 55%. And the number who don't is down to 41%. Now, when we start getting witnesses and live testimony and all that new stuff, if that 55%, what if it goes up to 60%? Let's say 60% of America want to remove Trump. That's a pretty powerful statement. And even if the Senate ends up not doing it, that has to be a big blow for him in November. That 6 out of 10 voters want to get rid of him. Are they going to turn around and vote for him in November? I doubt.
Let's now talk about the new evidence that Adam Schiff's committee has released on Tuesday with regards to, the indicted Rudy Giuliani associate Lev Panas, which included a letter showing Rudy Giuliani's outreach to the Ukrainian president and text messages between Panas and Connecticut congressional candidate Robert Hyde, appearing to show surveillance of former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. So will this new evidence change the tone of the trial?
I think it has to. And I think that we might now wonder why Nancy Pelosi waited to transmit these articles to the Senate till today. And this evidence only came into the hands of the House Intelligence Committee over this past weekend, when a federal judge allowed this guy, Lev Parnas, to have his phone and iPad and documents opened up and handed over to the House of Representatives. So they've been waiting for it. and it was very prominent on the TV last night and this morning. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it really shows a bunch of thugs monitoring, surveilling, maybe threatening the sitting ambassador to Ukraine. My God. I mean, and the president of the United States is on the phone to the president of Ukraine saying, quote, she's going to go through some things, sounding like a mafia thug threatening somebody. And this is a woman who works for him. Was our ambassador to Ukraine. So, yeah, I think it's ugly. It's disgusting. I think it's good that it's coming out. And my guess is there's a lot more of it yet to come.
All right, and plenty more to chat about, Mr. LeBoutillier. Thank you so much for your reflections and your opinion. That was John LeBoutillier. He's a former Republican member of the United States House of Representatives, speaking to us live from New York.